Part 5, Chapter 9. Terry Carmichael stood beside the open driver's side window of her truck. One hand was on the cocked hip of her snug green trousers. The other held her radio. She hit the talk button. "Clyde?" "I'm here, light of my life." "Well, you can tell Mrs. Parker that there's nothing weird going on here. No truck, no UFOs. And except for the odd human head on a stake, no signs of Satan." "Would you care to tell her yourself?" Clyde asked. "I can patch you through." "No, thanks," she said. "It'll take just a second, Terry. She's probably waiting right beside the phone." "Clyde, isn't it about time for your medication?" Terry looked up, the last word trailing off as she felt the air move. It wasn't the wind. It was more like the body-shaking vibration of a jackhammer going full tilt. Only the vibrations rattled each inch of her from scalp to heel. "Terry?" Clyde asked. "Are you okay?" "Shh," she said, though not into the microphone or loud enough for him to hear. "Terry!" "Quiet!" she barked, her eyebrows pinching in the center as the rumbling rose and she trembled all over, as though she were standing on a drum. She glanced to her right, saw her truck quaking. Then she heard it, felt it, and saw it all at once. She heard the ocean roar rush of air, felt it whip her long brown hair around, turn up the collar of her green shirt, and cause her pant legs to flutter about her shins. Saw it pass overhead, dark and wide and fast. Terry ducked reflexively, even though the blotch was past her before she did, and she knew it. Whatever it was, because it sure didn't sound like a plane, couldn't possibly be that low. "Holy shit!" she muttered as the afterwash died quickly and the skyborne shadow was swallowed up somewhere to the west among the stars and trees. And as she looked at where the maelstrom had been, could it have been a freak kind of tornado? She saw another shape, less night on bad mountainish, floating earthward roughly a quarter of a mile away. "Terry!" Clyde sang out. She clicked on. "Yeah, I'm here." "Would you mind telling me what's going on?" "I don't know," she said. "I saw something fall. I'm going to check. And Clyde?" "Yes?" "If Mrs. Parker calls to say she saw a UFO, tell her I know all about it." Signing off before her supervisor could waste her time with questions she couldn't answer, Terry reached into the truck to replace the microphone, snatched the flashlight from the dashboard, and set out through the hip-high brush. Chapter 10. When he released the bombs, Deakins used the heel of his right hand to push out the remains of the shattered window, poked his forehead out, and watched as the warheads fell. They tumbled to earth gracefully, like branches spinning in a fast-moving river. They were harmless in their current mode. They would only be dangerous when they were activated. The B-3 was too far away for Deakins to see them, even before the bombs were gobbled up by the treetops. Settling back in his seat and drawing air through his clenched teeth, he took a moment to collect himself. Then he picked up his helmet, put it on gingerly. Hail had hurt him with the whack in the face, and pushed the landing button on the mission mode panel. The cockpit lit up. "I got him!" a voice in Wilkins's command said. Deakins heard Wilkins say, "But they're not due to come out of stealth for another half hour. Something must be—" "This is Deakins!" the Major cut in, his tone frantic, grin wicked. "Hale lost it!" "What do you mean?" Wilkins demanded. "Talk to me, Major. What is it?" "Shit! Damn! I'm punching out!" Still smiling, Deakins reprogrammed the autopilot to head for the sandy flats 4 miles west, quickly inputting in the coordinates and the rate of descent. Then he turned the autopilot on, switched the ejection button to manual, made sure his harness was snug, experiencing a moment of sorrow for poor, unbridled Hale, who probably landed with a splat a mile from his seat, and pulled the handle. The hatch flew off with a blam and a whoosh, and a moment later, Deakins was blasted free of the bomber. First, there were 2 seconds of crushing G-force as his seat rocketed up and away from the plane. Then there was the moment of weightlessness as he reached the zenith of the ejection arc and began to drop. And finally, there was the chest-abrading tug as the parachute deployed and slowed his descent. A moment later, he was floating to Earth like a soap bubble. The B-3, however, was not. As planned, it continued to the west, descending 3 feet a second. From his lofty post, Deakins could see the black flying wing slice lower, gently lower, moment by moment, until it bellied down, skidding and pinwheeling gently to the left in the open expanse of sand. The granules rose in cloudy waves around the nose and right wing of the B-3 as it scudded to a stop. Then, lit by the still glowing light of the cockpit, the grains of sand snowed down on the plane like glitter. Looking down as he approached a clear spot on an escarpment, Deakins savoured the thought of all the "What the hells?" and "Jesus Christs!" which would be exploding from the mouths of the crew in the AWACS and the folks at Whiteman and at McMurran AFB here in Utah. He savoured even more the fact that the rubes would never know what hit them. Not until it was too late, anyway.